Have you ever found yourself hesitating to speak English because you feel unsure, nervous, or afraid of making mistakes? Maybe it's the fear of being judged by others, or worrying about how you sound when you speak. If that sounds familiar, don't worry. You're definitely not alone in feeling this way. Speaking English confidently is one of the biggest challenges that learners around the world face on their language journey. The good news is that confidence in speaking English isn't something fixed or innate. Rather, it's a skill that you can develop, nurture, and strengthen gradually over time, regardless of your current level or how long you have been learning. Hello, and a very warm welcome to PowerHab English, the channel dedicated to bringing you simple, practical, and engaging lessons designed to help you learn English more effectively and enjoyably. I'm genuinely excited and grateful to have you here today for this special session because the topic we're going to cover, how to speak English confidently, is relevant to every English learner. Whether you're just starting out, have been practicing for a few months, or have years of experience, this video will offer you valuable tips and techniques to support your journey toward confident English communication. Throughout this video, we will explore different strategies, mindsets, and clear steps that will guide you toward speaking English with more confidence step by step. You'll discover how to face and overcome the common fears and hesitations that often hold us back from speaking up. We'll also learn how to express yourself more naturally, comfortably, and clearly during English conversations, helping you connect better with others and feel more at ease. Before we jump into the heart of today's topic, I want to sincerely thank you for spending your valuable time with us here at PowerHab English. If you find this video helpful, please remember to subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends or classmates who are also learning English, and leave a comment below, sharing your own thoughts, experiences, or any questions you might have. Your feedback is incredibly valuable. It helps us grow and motivates us to keep creating helpful, supportive content tailored to your learning needs. Now let's begin with the essential first step, understanding why confidence is such a crucial factor in your ability to communicate effectively in English, and how it influences your learning progress. Confidence is about so much more than simply feeling good, relaxed, or comfortable when you speak English. While feeling at ease certainly plays a role, true confidence profoundly impacts how effectively you express yourself. It influences the clarity of your communication, your willingness to take risks, and your openness to learning from every experience, good or bad. Imagine yourself in a conversation with native English speakers. When you feel confident, you're much more likely to actively participate, share your ideas openly, and learn from the exchange. You engage fully, listen attentively, and respond without hesitation. On the other hand, if you lack confidence, you might hold back, staying silent, hesitating frequently, or even avoiding speaking altogether. This fear of speaking up causes you to miss out on valuable chances to practice and improve your language skills, slowing your progress. Building on the idea that confidence is the foundation for speaking English, well, think back to the last time you hesitated to speak. Maybe you were in a conversation where you knew exactly what you wanted to say, but suddenly a wave of nervousness or self-doubt overwhelmed you. Perhaps the fear of making mistakes stopped you from sharing your thoughts, leaving you silent instead. This experience is incredibly common among English learners worldwide, and it's completely normal to feel this way. The key to overcoming this obstacle, however, lies in fully understanding and accepting that making mistakes isn't just okay, it's an essential part of learning. Every mistake you make is a valuable stepping stone toward greater fluency, understanding, and confidence. Confidence is the inner strength that allows you to move beyond the fear of errors. It gives you the courage to speak up, experiment with new vocabulary and phrases, and engage in conversations even when you know you're not perfect yet. And here's the beautiful truth. The more you practice, the more your confidence naturally grows. It becomes a positive cycle. The more confident you feel, the more you speak. The more you speak, the more your confidence builds. To make this idea clearer, let me share a concrete example. Imagine you're in a workplace meeting, and you need to present an idea in English. You have prepared thoroughly, you know your key points inside and out. But when it's your turn to speak, nerves take hold. You worry about pronouncing words correctly or forgetting the vocabulary you need. If your confidence is low, these worries might overwhelm you, causing you to freeze or stumble in front of your colleagues. Conversely, if you've been actively working on your confidence, you'll have strategies to calm your nerves. You'll be able to deliver your message clearly and effectively, even if your English isn't flawless. Remember, confidence isn't about perfection. It's about the willingness to keep trying, learning, and growing. Supporting this idea, a recent study found that approximately 75% of English learners experience some level of anxiety when speaking. So if you feel nervous or unsure, know you're in good company. You're not alone in this. The encouraging part is even better. 90% of those learners reported significant growth in confidence after they started speaking regularly, despite making mistakes along the way. This clearly shows how critical consistent practice and persistence are in building real, lasting confidence. Overcoming the fear of making mistakes. One of the most common and significant obstacles that stop many English learners from speaking confidently is the fear of making mistakes. This fear can be so overwhelming that it prevents you from practicing altogether, holding you back from making the progress you want. However, it's important to remember that practicing making mistakes included is exactly what will help you improve your skills and build real confidence. So how can you begin to break free from this fear? First and foremost, it's essential to accept a universal truth. Everyone makes mistakes when learning a new language. Mistakes are not failures. They are a natural, unavoidable, and necessary part of the learning process. Even native speakers make errors from time to time, especially when trying to express complex ideas or speaking quickly. The difference is that they don't allow these mistakes to stop them from communicating and expressing themselves effectively. Always keep in mind that the goal of communication is not to be perfect, but to be understood. Think back to a time when you were listening to someone speaking English who made a grammar or pronunciation mistake. Did that mistake prevent you from understanding their message? Almost certainly not. The same applies when you speak. Most people pay attention to what you're trying to say, not to how flawlessly you say it. Here's a practical and empowering tip. Learn to embrace your mistakes as invaluable opportunities to learn and grow, rather than feeling embarrassed or discouraged by them. When you make a mistake, whether it's mispronouncing a word using the wrong verb, tense, or forgetting vocabulary, that's completely normal and okay. Every mistake you make is a stepping stone on your path to fluency, understanding, and greater confidence. Let me share a story about one of my students, Maria. She used to feel extremely nervous about speaking English in front of her colleagues because she was afraid of making mistakes and being judged. But one day during a conversation, I encouraged her simply to start speaking without worrying about perfection. She began slowly and hesitantly, but with consistent practice and a positive mindset, she gradually started to speak more fluently and confidently. Sure, she made some mistakes along the way, but guess what? Her colleagues understood her perfectly, and she experienced an incredible sense of accomplishment. Today, Maria delivers presentations in English without hesitation or fear. Here's another important insight. Research shows that language learners who focus on effectively communicating their message rather than on speaking perfectly tend to achieve greater success. So, if your goal is to communicate and connect, don't let the fear of making mistakes hold you back. Remember, true confidence comes from practice, and practice often means making a few mistakes along the way. The more you practice, the more confident and fluent you become. Practical strategies to build confidence in speaking English. Now that we've discussed why confidence is essential and how to overcome the fear of making mistakes, let's dive deeper into practical strategies you can begin implementing today to gradually build your confidence in speaking English. These methods are straightforward, actionable, and specifically designed to help you grow your confidence step by step so you can begin speaking English with more ease and self-assurance. The first strategy: start small and build gradually. When you're feeling nervous about speaking English, it's important to remember that there's no rush. Start with small, manageable steps to build your confidence slowly. By focusing on simpler tasks first, you allow yourself to grow naturally and without the stress of trying to speak perfectly right away. One of the best ways to start is by speaking to yourself in English. It may feel a bit strange initially, but this simple exercise is incredibly helpful for practicing without the pressure of speaking with others. Whether you're at home or out and about, you can start by talking about what you're doing, reflecting on your day, or even pretending to have a conversation with someone. The goal is not to speak perfectly, but to get comfortable with your voice speaking English. For example, you could describe your morning routine. I wake up at 7 a.m., make a cup of coffee, and then check my phone. You can also practice introducing yourself or explaining what you're doing in simple terms. This solo practice will help you get used to speaking in English without feeling judged or anxious, and over time, you'll become more fluent and comfortable. Once you feel comfortable speaking to yourself, the next step is to engage in real conversations. Start with brief, casual conversations with people you trust. This could be with friends, family, or language exchange partners. These types of low-pressure interactions give you a safe space to practice and help you gradually build up to more complex discussions. The key is not to rush yourself. Focus on small wins and keep moving forward at a pace that feels right for you. The second strategy: use positive affirmations to reprogram your mind. One of the most effective ways to increase your speaking confidence is through the use of positive affirmations. These are simple, positive statements that you say to yourself regularly to reinforce your belief in your ability to speak English. Affirmations help shift your mindset from one of self-doubt and fear to one of self-assurance and empowerment. For example, you could say, "I am becoming more confident every day I can speak English clearly and confidently," or "I am capable of improving my speaking skills." Repeating affirmations like these daily can help you eliminate negative thoughts and replace them with positive ones, reinforcing your belief that you can achieve fluency in English. Research has shown that people who use positive affirmations regularly are more likely to believe in their potential and are better equipped to overcome challenges. To make the most of this technique, try starting each day with a few minutes of affirmations. You can also repeat them whenever you feel nervous or doubt your abilities. Over time, these affirmations will become ingrained in your thinking, and you'll start to see tangible improvements in your confidence levels. By consistently practicing affirmations, you'll develop a positive mental attitude toward learning English. This change in mindset will allow you to approach speaking opportunities with enthusiasm instead of fear, making you more likely to engage in conversations and keep practicing. The third strategy: practice. Active listening to enhance your speaking. Active listening is an incredibly powerful tool for building speaking confidence. The more you listen to native English speakers, the more you will absorb the natural rhythm, pronunciation, and structure of the language. Listening not only helps you improve your comprehension, but it also prepares you to speak more confidently by familiarizing you with how native speakers use the language in everyday conversations. To practice active listening, immerse yourself in English media. Watch English movies, listen to podcasts, or engage in conversations with native speakers. Pay attention to how they form their sentences, the tone of their voice, and how they express emotions. You should also focus on how they deal with pauses, interruptions, and other conversational dynamics. This will help you understand how English is naturally spoken, making you feel more comfortable when it's your turn to speak. Listening will also improve your vocabulary and give you useful phrases that you can use in your own conversations. As you listen to English content, try to imitate the way speakers pronounce words, the rhythm of their speech, and the expressions they use. This will help you feel more confident when you need to speak and will make your own English sound more natural and fluent. Active listening builds a bridge between passive knowledge and active speaking skills. The more you listen, the more prepared you'll be to express yourself in similar ways, and the more confident you'll feel when you speak. The fourth strategy, record yourself. Speaking for better self-awareness. A very effective way to build your speaking confidence is by recording yourself. At first, this might feel awkward, but it's a great way to track your progress and identify areas for improvement. Hearing your own voice in English will give you a clearer perspective on how you sound and help you recognize both your strengths and the areas where you can improve. Start by recording yourself talking about something simple, maybe a daily activity or a familiar topic. You could talk about your hobbies, your last vacation, or describe a book or movie you enjoyed. The goal is to get into the habit of speaking for a few minutes at a time. After you listen to your recordings, assess how you sound. Pay attention to aspects such as pronunciation, clarity, and grammar. You might also notice areas where you tend to hesitate or struggle. Over time, as you continue recording and listening to yourself, you'll start to hear progress. You might be surprised at how much better you sound than you expected. Hearing your improvement will motivate you to keep going and build your confidence further. Regularly recording yourself also helps you become more self-aware of your speaking patterns. If you notice areas for improvement, such as mispronunciations or awkward pauses, you can work on them during future practice sessions. As you see progress, you'll naturally feel more confident and motivated to keep improving. The fifth strategy, embrace mistakes as part of the learning process. The most important takeaway from all of these strategies is to embrace mistakes as a necessary part of learning. No one speaks perfectly all the time. Even native speakers make mistakes. The key to improving is not avoiding mistakes, but learning from them and using them as stepping stones toward greater fluency. Whenever you make a mistake while speaking English instead of feeling embarrassed, take a moment to acknowledge it as a learning opportunity. Whether you mispronounce a word, use the wrong tense, or forget a phrase, these mistakes are a natural part of your journey to becoming a more fluent speaker. I've worked with many students who initially feared making mistakes, but once they learned to embrace them, their confidence skyrocketed. They realized that their goal was not to speak perfectly, but to communicate effectively. The more mistakes they made, the more they learned, and the more confident they became in their speaking ability. Remember, confidence comes from practice, and practice often means making mistakes along the way. The more you speak and practice, the better you'll become. By accepting mistakes as part of the process, you allow yourself to grow without the fear of judgment holding you back. Real-life examples of English learners building confidence. Let's take a moment to draw inspiration from some real-life stories of English learners who have successfully built their confidence and made impressive progress in their speaking skills. These examples illustrate how commitment, perseverance, and a positive mindset can transform your language learning journey. Ethan's journey, overcoming hesitation and rising to leadership. Take Ethan, for example. Ethan is a young professional from the Philippines who started his career at an international company. In the beginning, speaking English at work was a challenge for him. The idea of communicating with colleagues in English made him nervous. He was often worried about his pronunciation, grammar, and whether he would sound professional enough. However, Ethan realized that in order to grow in his career, mastering English was crucial. Instead of letting his fears hold him back, he made the decision to improve his speaking skills. Ethan started by setting small, realistic goals for himself. He committed to speaking English every day, even if it was just for a few minutes. At first, he would have simple conversations with his colleagues, short exchanges where he felt comfortable. Gradually, his confidence grew, and so did his conversations. Instead of avoiding the discussions, he became an active participant. Ethan also found opportunities to practice outside the office. He joined English-speaking clubs, where he could converse with others in a low-pressure environment. These interactions were key in helping him improve his fluency. As he continued practicing consistently, Ethan found himself taking on more challenging speaking tasks, including delivering presentations in English. Within 6 months, his confidence had transformed. He was now able to speak clearly and confidently in meetings, and his colleagues noticed the difference. Today, Ethan is regarded as a confident and reliable leader in his company. What's truly remarkable about Ethan's success is the way he embraced his fear and turned it into motivation. Through daily practice, he was able to push past the hesitation and transform his nervousness into leadership and fluency. His story is a perfect example of how persistence and small daily efforts can lead to big results over time. Emily's journey. Embracing mistakes and inspiring others. Now let's consider Emily's story. Emily is a university student who just a few months ago was too shy to speak English in front of her classmates. She was always worried about making mistakes, whether it was mispronouncing a word or getting the grammar wrong. This fear of making mistakes kept her silent during class discussions, and she avoided speaking whenever possible. But Emily realized that this fear was preventing her from growing and reaching her full potential. Instead of continuing to let the fear of mistakes control her, Emily made the decision to change her approach. She acknowledged that mistakes are part of learning, not a reflection of failure. With this new mindset, Emily began to embrace her mistakes, seeing them as opportunities for growth. Rather than retreating into silence, she started participating more actively in class. She asked questions, volunteered to speak during discussions, and practiced speaking English outside of class. As time passed, Emily's confidence grew tremendously. She not only became more comfortable speaking in class, but she also began helping other students who struggled with speaking English. She encouraged her peers to speak up and not be afraid to make mistakes. This shift in Emily's approach not only helped her improve, but also inspired others to overcome their own fears. Today, Emily is a role model for her classmates. Her willingness to embrace her mistakes and encourage others has made her an invaluable part of her learning community. Emily's journey shows us that confidence comes not just from individual effort, but from creating a supportive environment for those around us. Her story teaches us that growth happens when we push through our fears and take on challenges knowing that we will make mistakes along the way. And that's okay. The common thread: persistence practice and positive mindset. Both Ethan and Emily's stories share a key lesson: the power of persistence, consistent practice, and embracing mistakes. They both started with small steps and focused on steady improvement rather than perfection. Ethan didn't wait for the perfect moment to speak. He practiced daily, faced his fears head-on, and gradually became more confident. Emily, too, realized that she had to take risks and put herself out there in order to grow. By embracing mistakes and taking every opportunity to speak, she was able to build her confidence and become a better communicator. What's especially inspiring about their journeys is that neither Ethan nor Emily expected perfection from themselves. Instead, they understood that learning a language is a process. Mistakes aren't obstacles, they are part of the learning path. And the more they practiced, the more their confidence grew. The stories of Ethan and Emily show us that Overcoming fear, practicing regularly, and maintaining a positive mindset are all crucial steps toward speaking English confidently. Confidence doesn't come from being flawless. It comes from being brave enough to speak, even when you're not sure of yourself, and to learn from your mistakes along the way. Ethan and Emily's experiences serve as powerful reminders that the road to fluency and confidence is built one step at a time. Even if you feel nervous or unsure, taking action and practicing consistently will help you overcome these feelings and develop the confidence you need to speak English. Just like Ethan and Emily, you too can transform your language skills and build the confidence you've always wanted. Keep moving forward. Embrace the process, and remember that every mistake is a valuable part of your learning journey. The role of environment in building confidence. The environment you immerse yourself in has a profound effect on your confidence, particularly when learning a new skill like speaking English. Confidence doesn't emerge in a vacuum. It thrives in an environment that nurtures and encourages growth. When you surround yourself with people who are supportive, positive, and understanding, your confidence will naturally increase because you'll feel safe to practice, take risks, and make mistakes without fear of being judged. In an encouraging environment, you're empowered to embrace the process of learning. When you're surrounded by people who support your efforts, whether through constructive feedback or simply by encouraging your progress, you feel more confident to try speaking without worrying about making mistakes. This environment fosters not only your linguistic growth, but also your mental and emotional growth, making you feel valued for trying and improving. Positive interactions within such a space give you the courage to speak English more often, which over time leads to natural fluency and confidence. Consider the opposite scenario when you are in an environment where you are constantly criticized, belittled, or made to feel insecure. It can be incredibly difficult to build or maintain confidence. A negative judgmental atmosphere will make you hesitant to speak or practice, which only hinders your progress. If every attempt you make is met with criticism or ridicule, it creates a sense of fear that becomes an obstacle to learning. In this case, every mistake becomes an emotional setback rather than a valuable lesson. That's why creating or finding the right community to support your learning is paramount. You don't need to go through the journey of learning English alone. Finding the right people who are either learning alongside you or who understand your struggles is key. Whether it's a language exchange group, an online English learning community, or a classroom filled with learners at the same level, having a group that celebrates your efforts and encourages your progress can make a huge difference. Research consistently shows that learners who are in positive, supportive environments experience an increase in their confidence levels by up to 50%. This statistic emphasizes just how crucial the environment is to the learning process. Knowing that there are others around you who are also working towards similar goals and who are ready to encourage and support you can boost your morale tremendously. Feeling understood and supported gives you the energy to keep going even on the toughest days. So when you're learning English, make sure that you are in an environment that fosters growth, not fear. Seek out spaces, whether physical or virtual, where you can practice your English, freely make mistakes, and receive the encouragement you need to continue improving. A supportive environment will give you the emotional strength to stay motivated and ultimately build the confidence needed to speak English effectively. Cultivating a growth mindset. One of the most powerful and transformative keys to building lasting confidence in speaking English is adopting a growth mindset. The concept of a growth mindset is simple. It's the belief that your abilities, including your ability to speak English, can grow and improve through sustained effort, practice, and a willingness to learn. People with a growth mindset embrace challenges and view mistakes not as failures, but as opportunities for growth and learning. When you develop a growth mindset, you shift your focus from the outcome perfection to the process progress. Instead of becoming discouraged by mistakes or setbacks, you start to see them as part of the journey. For example, if you make a mistake while speaking, you don't see it as a reflection of your inability to learn. Instead, you recognize it as an opportunity to refine your skills and do better next time. This shift in perspective is essential for overcoming the fear of making mistakes, which often holds learners back from speaking confidently. A growth mindset allows you to take a long-term view of your progress. It reminds you that learning a language is not about achieving instant perfection, but about continually improving step by step. This mindset shift is especially crucial in language learning, where progress may feel slow at times. However, with a growth mindset, you are motivated to keep going because you understand that your consistent effort will eventually lead to improvement. The belief that abilities can grow through effort and practice makes setbacks less discouraging. Instead of feeling defeated when things don't go as planned, you'll see it as a temporary challenge that can be overcome with continued effort. For instance, if you struggle with pronunciation or grammar, instead of thinking, "I'll never be good at this," you can think, "I can improve with more practice." This small change in thinking can make all the difference when it comes to staying motivated and continuing to push forward. There's solid research to support the idea that learners with a growth mindset are more successful in acquiring new skills, including language learning. Studies show that individuals with this mindset are more likely to persist through difficulties and keep practicing even when faced with challenges. They understand that confidence is not built overnight, but through repeated effort. This approach to learning allows them to gradually improve and in time reach a level of fluency and confidence they might have once thought impossible. The beauty of adopting a growth mindset is that it's not only about improving your language skills, it also fosters personal development. As you continue to embrace challenges, learn from mistakes, and keep going, despite setbacks, you will develop a deeper sense of resilience, patience, and confidence that extends beyond language learning. This mindset will not only help you improve your English, but will help you tackle other areas of personal growth as well. If your goal is to build lasting confidence in speaking English, adopting a growth mindset is crucial. Recognize that fluency comes with time, and each effort, each conversation, and each mistake is part of that journey. Keep practicing, keep learning, and keep believing in your ability to grow. With this mindset, you'll see not only your language skills, but also your confidence flourish in ways you may never have imagined. Confidence doesn't come from being perfect, it comes from believing that you can improve step by step. And with every step, your confidence will grow. Conclusion: keep building your confidence. That brings us to the end of today's session on how to speak English confidently. We've explored a comprehensive range of crucial topics, from understanding the importance of confidence in communication, overcoming the fear of making mistakes, and discovering practical strategies to build your confidence, to real-life success stories that demonstrate how anyone can overcome barriers and succeed. We also delved into the importance of the right environment and mindset to foster and maintain your confidence as you learn. At the core of everything we've discussed is this simple truth: speaking English confidently is a journey, not a destination. It's not something that happens overnight, nor is it something that comes with perfection. Rather, it's a process that involves consistent practice, patience, and the willingness to embrace mistakes as opportunities to learn. The key is to take small, manageable steps and trust that progress will come. Each time you speak, you build your confidence. Every conversation, no matter how small, is a success that moves you forward. Don't be afraid to make mistakes along the way. Remember, mistakes are an essential part of the learning process. Confidence isn't about being perfect. It's about the willingness to continue speaking and learning despite the inevitable challenges. The more you practice, the more comfortable and natural it will become. your confidence will grow organically, and over time, you'll be amazed at how far you've come. Thank you so much for joining me on this session of PowerHab English today. I hope that you've found this video both helpful and inspiring as you continue on your journey to fluency. If you enjoyed this session, please make sure to subscribe to the channel for more content. Like this, share it with your friends who are also learning English, and leave a comment below. I'd love to hear about your own experiences with building confidence in speaking English, and which strategies have worked best for you. Remember, your confidence in speaking English is something that will grow with time and practice. You are capable of speaking English confidently, and you're well on your way to achieving that goal. Until next time, keep practicing, stay positive, and always remember you can speak English confidently.